my beautiful lovelies, it's Emmy. How are you? It's great to see you and welcome back. Today I'm going to be tackling the candy from Squid Game, the show on Netflix that is taking over the world, that is comprised of a bunch of cash-strapped contestants that are competing for an equivalent of about $33 million in a game that also involves their lives. This show is super popular. It originally appeared on Netflix in South Korea, but was launched in the US on September 17th. And since then, everyone cannot get enough of the candy that I'm going to be attempting to make it today. Now, this candy appears in episode 3. Some people call it dalgona, some people call it popji, and it is a candy disc that's made out of cooked sugar with a little bit of baking soda, and in the center of it is embossed with a shape. Now, the game popji is that you break off the outside of the candy, trying to keep the shape in the middle intact. Now, historically, if you were able to do this as a child buying this from a popji vendor, you would get a free candy. But the stakes are much higher in the context of Squid Game, and that's, I guess, what makes it so compelling. According to a New York Times article, the candy became popular post-war when American soldiers brought candies from the US and children enjoyed them, and dalgona was invented. So according to Kimchi Mari, I'll put a link down below to the original article, there is a difference between dalgona and popji. Now, popji, what we're going to be making today, is made with cooked sugar, while dalgona is traditionally made with cooked glucose. So both of them are sugars. They have slightly different textures, but they both use baking soda and heat to make a very simple, kind of caramelized, brittle candy. And I'm going to be making a version that's supposed to come together in 10 minutes. So let's see if in 10 minutes we can make the Squid Game inspired popji candy. So there are special kits to make this at home, but I think you can improvise with things you already have. Namely, we're going to be cooking it in a ladle, and I'm going to be using a disposable chopstick. I'm going to be adding just granulated sugar, nice heaping tablespoon, right into my ladle. Turn on the heat, and this is going to be a medium heat. In this little dish here, I've got some baking soda, and I've got it right next to me so we can add it when this is ready. Now we're going to stir this and melt the sugar. Now, sugar, if you've ever worked with it trying to make candy, is finicky. But it's a marvelous substance. It makes all kinds of wonderful hard candies, soft candies, but you have to get it at very specific temperatures. We're not going to be taking the temperature of this. We're just going to be melting it into a caramel. It's already starting to melt on the edges. So be careful with the heat. We don't want to burn this, but it is starting to melt on the edges. See that? Put it on the fire and kind of take it away. If you don't have a ladle, you can also do this in a measuring cup with a long handle. So it's been maybe a minute and it's already melting. Now this can burn and overcook very quickly, so manage your heat accordingly. So it's already caramelizing. Now I don't want this to overcook, so I'm going to just bob this back and forth. Look at that, it's already liquid. Okay, but we don't want any of those solid pieces. Over here I've got a baking tray lined with parchment paper that has been lightly oiled. Last bit of sugar. So we are liquefied. Now I'm going to take some baking soda, pinch right in there, and work that in there. Look at that. So it turns white, and we're going to put it over the heat for just about 4 or 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just so it puffs up. And then immediately pour it onto a piece of parchment paper that has been oiled. Get all of that out of there as possible. Add another sheet of parchment on top, metal measuring spoon, and press it down. Then peel it off. Ah, it worked! Now we're going to take a shape. I'm going to use a circle and push it in there. Lift it out. It worked! Look! It looks great! Oh my gosh, that was actually pretty simple. And almost immediately it hardens up. Look at that. Beautiful. I'm so happy. It totally worked. That was even less than 10 minutes. That was like 5 minutes. Alrighty, my lovelies, to make this look a little bit more like the popji from Squid Game, I put it in a ball jar lid, which happens to fit perfectly. And I've got myself a big needle here. And let's see if I can get the circle to come out cleanly, or risk dying. Ugh. The pressure, the pressure. One of the strategies is to score all around this edge. So it increases the chance that the candy will fracture on that line, not breaking the circle. Okay, so I broke one piece off. This is similar to honeycomb candy that you can find here stateside. It's also very similar to karumiyaki, which I made in another video. I'll put a link down below. That comes from Japan. That's almost an identical recipe using unrefined sugar along with some baking soda and some microwaves. Just look how easily it snaps. So very brittle. Mmm. It's delicious. Has a great kind of roasted caramel flavor. Toasted, almost nutty, sweet, and a delightful texture that's very kind of airy and snappy. Yet as you chew it, it kind of sticks to your teeth. Delicious. I love, love, love the texture. Mmm. Such a delightful crunch. It almost has a slight bitterness to it. This is very easy to overcook. So once your sugar melts, take it off the heat, mix in your baking soda. Don't overcook this. Alrighty, so we've got that much out. Let's see if we can get the rest of it. Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. All right, yes. Yes, yes. I think the circle is the way to go. Yes. Yes, Emmy lives. I got the shape. Song Ji-hun, the main character in Squid Game, gets an umbrella shape, which is much more intricate and has a very skinny handle, and you can imagine be a lot more difficult to extricate than this circle. Another great thing I saw that you can do with this candy is fill a glass up with milk, any kind of milk you like, add some ice, then sprinkle these little crumbled bits of candy on top, swirl it in, and you'll have a beautifully caramelly infused glass of milk. Or coffee too. Oh my gosh, with coffee. This is definitely possible to make at home. It's super easy and super simple, and it's a great fun way to recreate a little bit of Squid Game at home. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed that one. I hope you learned something. Please share this video with your friends. Follow me on social media. Check out my website. I will include a printable version of this recipe. Like this video, subscribe, and I shall see you in the next one. Toodaloo, take care, bye!